Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Umineko. This is episode 129. In the last episode we kicked off Arc 8, the final arc. And we had a really happy scene actually where all the family, including Grumpy Kinzo, was really happy and they were all meeting up, and Ange came along with the family because she wasn't sick enough or she fought through sickness, something like that. And she made friends with Maria and they were all taking the piss out of Battler getting on the ship together, so they made it to the mansion. Okay. So now we're going to see where it goes from there. I am loving this arc so far. It was a really strong start for me. It just seems odd and different. And I like it. So let's go. Now quite liking that the format's changed from the bookness of Arc 7. Oh, this is so relaxing. And look at the background. The cousins walked along the beach, playing in all kinds of ways. They searched for bits of glass, polished by the waves to become small and gem-like. They caught up on news of each other's lives and joked around. They wrote words in the sand. They chased the receding waves and ran away from the coming ones. The cousins enjoyed the time they had to themselves. Get back here, Maria. You won't get off easy this time. No way, no way. You'll get hurt if you fall. Be careful, you two. Feels like the wind's gotten stronger. Maybe we should head back soon. You're right. I think the sky's getting cloudier too. The rain's coming. Battlegun, Maria-chan. I think we should call it a day soon and head back to the guest house for the time being. Oh? No way! I want to play more. Hey, don't ignore your cousin. Okay, that's all for now. Here, I'll give you my glass gem. Oh, really? Thank you, Battler. Now I have the most, so I win. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Angie, are you okay? Look at the key she's got on her design. The one from the story. Yeah. What's wrong, Angie? You look a little down. She's just tired out. Come on, let's all head back together. Angie's expression probably did look tired. However, Battler alone thought he saw something else in it. What's wrong? Can you tell me? It's nothing. She said that, but something in her expression showed that she was unsatisfied for some reason. Since Angie didn't say what it was, and Battler couldn't think of anything, he was unable to guess anymore. So he squeezed her small hand, silently letting her know that she could tell him whenever she was ready. Even though it had seemed like such a bright, sunny day a second ago, the sky turned grey and the winds started to feel more annoying than pleasant. If they waited around, they would probably see scattered raindrops as well soon. I guess it'll be raining the whole time from now on. What a pain. Still, even though it didn't last long, it was fun to be a kid again. I can't wait to show Mama this glass gem. I'm gonna tell her I won. Even though you only won because I gave you mine. Oh, I got it, so it's mine. So I won. Oh. Angie walked distractedly, pulled along by her brother. George and the others thought that she had probably woken up too early and was tired, so they didn't try to talk to her much. As they reached the end of the forested path, the rose garden lay before them. They could see strong winds making the rose bushes wave. Mama, look! I won! Maria ran forward, waving her hands about and yelling. It looked as though Rosa was waving to them from the front of the guest house. I'm gonna head back to my room for a sec. I'll meet you in the cousin room right after. Okay, got it. See you later then. Jessica ran off in the direction of the mansion. George turned around as though suggesting that they had better get going too. However, when he saw Angie standing still with a crabby look on her face, he realised that something might have put her into a bad mood. Is everything okay? Yeah, she's fine. Sorry, but would you mind going on ahead of us? Sure, got it. See you later. George headed for the guest house. The only ones left in the rose garden were Battler, who was waving at George, and Angie, who was still staring at the ground and holding Battler's hand. For the past few minutes, he had repeatedly asked Angie what was wrong. He realised that this wasn't anything like a stomachache or something obvious that had made her grumpy. However, young girls sometimes get upset for reasons that only they can understand. Battler knew this, so he didn't rush her in any way, and continued to gaze around the beautiful rose garden, holding her hand. Oni-chan, what is it? Where are we? She asked the question as though she was talking about something on the other side of the silver screen. Though Battler understood what that question meant, he played dumb. Where are we? We're on Rockenjima, right? You're wrong. No, I'm not. How is this Rockenjima? It's the Rockenjima of October 4th, 1986. The Rockenjima you've wanted to see for so long. That's a lie. Why'd you say that? This is totally fake. It's too happy. Angie wrenched her hand from her brother's grip. That hand hit a rose and sent flower petals flying. I don't lie. How is this supposed to be the truth? Angie spat those words out. However, Battler's expression remained calm and composed. What don't you like about it? Ushirimaya Kinzo, for example. He wasn't anything like that, right? Well, grandfather wouldn't smile when he's been reunited with his grandchildren after a long time. Ushirimaya Kinzo wasn't that kind of person. Ushirimaya Kinzo was strict, discontented, short-tempered and quick to anger. So you do understand. What was all that back there? How was that supposed to be Ushirimaya Kinzo? Halloween? Exchanging presents? What the hell was that? That's nothing like Ushirimaya Kinzo. This is nothing like Rockenjima. Don't you remember, Angie? Remember what? We did that every year, didn't we? Every year? That? Well, I guess it's no surprise. The last time you went to a family conference, you were less than 6 years old. So it's only natural that you wouldn't remember. It's only natural that I don't remember. Angie understood what her brother was trying to say. However, she couldn't accept it. It's true that Ushirimaya Kinzo was a rigid man. When he was younger, he really was strict with his kids, apparently. And while it's probably not wrong to say that it was pretty traumatic for Dad and the others, and that they're still a bit scared of him. The grand tale of how Kinzo restored the Ushirimaya family was more than enough to paint him as a rigid, terrifying man. Furthermore, Kinzo was an investor. All the legends and tales that made him seem more mysterious had probably worked in his business's favour. At times, Kinzo may even have acted out this part people expected, in endeavouring to make his presence all the more overpowering. That's why the world at large spoke of Ushirimaya Kinzo as a strict, short-tempered man. And they even thought of him as a fickle, bold, incomprehensible eccentric. But that was just the face grandfather showed to the world. That's not how he acted in private, alone with his family. You saying that weeping old man who doted on his grandchildren is the real Ushirimaya Kinzo? He must have played with you and patted your head many times. Do you really not remember? Stuff like that might have happened once or twice. But that must have been a mere whim of his. My parents told me all the time. Grandfather is a terrifying person, so make sure you act properly. They always said that he's very scary, so take care. And that means he was a scary person. When you were little, you would always accept whatever your parents said and take it too seriously. To put it nicely, you were obedient, but to put it bluntly, you were a kid with an overactive imagination. Dad and the others were just trying to make you realise how important it was to be polite. I saw it though. I knew about it. I knew that Ushirimaya Kinzo was a scary person. I've even seen him yelling in anger. I'll never forget it. Well, like you saw just now, Grandfather could be a bit abrupt at times. He might just have been trying to surprise you. Or it might have slipped out when he was having a serious discussion with his kids. And you think I just got scared for no reason? And got the wrong idea? That can't be true. I mean, I still remember it. I know I saw Ushirimaya Kinzo yelling and being scary. Mom and Dad were terrified too, so I know I'm right. The impression you had of Grandfather when you were young remained with you, and that impression grew inside you as you grew up. How many times did Angie see Kinzo in her life? How old was she the last time she saw him? Angie, who got sick easily when under pressure, couldn't have gone to Rockenjima often. And since she was absent for the family conference when she was 6, her last memories of him must have come from when she was just 5 years old. But even you haven't seen Ashurmaya Kinzo for 6 years. That's right. But when I finally came back after 6 years, I saw that grandfather hadn't changed in the slightest. Kinzo was fickle, so you could never understand what he was thinking. And he was an eccentric with a creepy love for the occult, and it's true that he had a love for the occult. Yeah, it was a bit of a strange hobby for him to get into in his final years. I'll admit that his hobby of collecting strange objects to scare his grandchildren and laugh at them wasn't exactly praiseworthy. Even Battler had been pranked by Kinzo in the past. He'd do things like showing off an attaché case with 7 strange stakes in it, and say something about how they were once used in the Middle Ages to gouge the hearts of victims in a witch's ceremony. When Kinzo did things like that, he was pretty scary, but looking back on it now, they really were childish pranks. Grandfather only scared his grandchildren because he wanted to joke around with them. I'd be willing to bet that grandfather pulled a prank like that on you too. It's no surprise that, young as you were, you let that scare you and convince you that grandfather was a strange, terrifying person. I don't know what you're talking about, Oni-chan. Ange bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. She said she didn't understand, but in truth she understood perfectly and was refusing to accept it. Remember how we traded Halloween presents in the parlour just now? What was that all about? The Ashurmaya family never did anything that sentimental. Yeah, we've never seen it, right? It's almost as though you don't remember it at all. Are you saying I got presents once too? I don't remember anything like that. That could never happen. Do you really think that grandfather, a man who lived the occult and Western traditions, wouldn't celebrate Halloween? Grandfather's Happy Halloween was pretty much the standard greeting at our family conferences. He must have said it to you too. Youth can be so cruel. Even though grandfather put all his heart into choosing those presents, it looks like your heart didn't remember anything. Are you saying that I was just too young to remember? And that was the truth of October 4th? On that day, just like 6 years before, grandfather entered the parlour with a cry of Happy Halloween. Then he and I traded presents as he shed tears over our long-awaited reunion after a 6-year gap. Grandfather seemed so sad that Ange wasn't able to come. So he gave Kirie-san a present, telling her to make sure that Ange got it. I never heard anything about a present like that. Mom never gave it to me. True. She never had the chance. I don't believe it. I won't believe that was Ashurmaya Kinzo. Then what about the family conference itself? Wasn't there a tense argument over the distribution of the inheritance? All of the adult siblings were in money trouble. That's why they all longed for Kinzo's inheritance money. Ange, where did you hear that from? What do you mean, where? It's the truth, isn't it? Do you think Dad would talk to you about financial difficulties with this company when you were that age? And not just Dad. Even if Uncle Kraus, Aunt Eva and Aunt Rosa were in money trouble and wanted Kinzo inheritance money, do you really think they'd talk about it in front of you? But it's true, isn't it? In the end, it was true. Ange's words were not mistaken. Not only Rudolph, but even Kraus, Hideyoshi and Rosa had companies in money trouble. People started talking about the Rokkenjima explosion accident as though it was some sort of conspiracy, and a mystery imagined by the public covered the island. Weekly magazines and television shows researched the circumstances of Kinzo's children at the time, and in the future where Ange lived, that research had been made public. You learned about all of that after 1986, but it's a fact, isn't it? There's no difference between facts and truth. Does that prove that the inheritance created a strained atmosphere between the relatives on Rokkenjima? I guess that might fit with your memory of your parents telling you repeatedly to be extra polite at the family conference. Are you saying that what I know about Rokkenjima, what I know about the Ashurmaya family, is wrong? You're the one who's wrong, Oni-chan. There's no way something like that could be possible. I won't accept that that was Ashurmaya Kinzo. I could never accept that. So you don't believe, Ange? That's right, I don't believe. I don't understand why you're showing me something like this. After all, this is your game. No, your game board, isn't it? First there was Beto and Byrne. One witch after another has sneered at my fate, trying to make me surrender in their games. But I want the truth. Witch illusions won't work on me. Now I get it, you damn witches. So you've sent Oni-chan's a final assassin to finish me off. You're right. This is my game. So of course, this is my tale, and I'm the one making it. That's why I'm able to add in what-if situations. Like, what would happen if you came to the island too? See? You made this tale. It's all a pack of lies, a fiction you created. You're right. This is all a fiction I created. See? You've admitted it. You have, haven't you? Just like I thought, this is all a lie you made. Why are you lying to me? Why won't you tell me the truth? Because there's something I need you to understand. Something more important than the truth. Something more important than the truth? What the hell are you talking about? The purpose of my game is to make you understand that. Just as Beto's games were made to make Battler believe in witches, Battler's game was made to show Ange something that was more important than the truth. Games never bring about their intended ends by force. After all, Beto's game could never be won for all eternity unless Battler acknowledged witches on his own. Battler's game was the same. Battler couldn't win in this game unless Ange acknowledged it herself. So Battler had advanced this game just as Beto had done in the past, to believe it or not, to accept it or not. The decision lay solely in the hands of the opponent. And so, Battler was trying to enshroud Ange with his own illusion. I finally get it. This is a game between me and you, Oni-chan. Ange, I'm not trying to challenge you to a game. No, this is a game. I made a wish, hoping to learn the truth of October 4th, 1986, and so you invited me to this game, saying that you'd show me the truth. And now you're showing me this strange illusion, trying to make me believe that it's the truth. Well, too bad. I'm already used to dealing with witches. I can totally tell that you're trying to use that kind face of yours to trick me. The big brother realised that no words of his would have any effect on this enraged little sister, so he just quietly listened to Ange's words. But even so, Ange was dissatisfied. I've had more than enough of this stupid farce. If you don't plan on telling me the truth, then end it all now. I'll find my own truth for myself. I won't rely on you. That's right. There never was anyone I could rely on anyway. I've always been all alone. Sorry, I won't let you leave this game. Oh, that's right. Unless the game master admits defeat, the game never ends, right? That isn't what I meant. I'm just telling you to stay quiet and listen. Oh, sure. I'll just stay quiet then. Even if a player isn't around, the pieces just move by themselves and the game moves forward. Isn't that how it works? That's right. A player can step back and become an observer for a while if they want. And they can return and join in whenever they want too. Then I'll do that. This is an endurance contest. It'll keep on going until you stop trying to cover up the truth. Something more important than the truth? I don't get it. How could anything like that exist? It does, Ange. Whether my tale is the truth or not, the fact remains that you lost something precious on this island. Dad, Mom, and you, Oni-chan. I lost my family and everything that mattered to me. She spat out those words as though no further questioning would do any good, and looked away. Even as he watched this, Battler's expression remained gentle. Just keep going however you like. Later, Oni-chan. At least make sure you watch the tale. Even just listening is enough. If I feel like it, later. What could be more important than the truth at this point in the last arc? Ange's eyes clouded. Then a particularly strong gust of wind blew by, sending her hair flying. The wind must have been carrying some dust with it. Ange's nose twitched, and she sneezed loudly. Oni-chan? What is it? How long are we gonna stand here? The weather's all weird. Let's go back to the guest house. Ange's eyes weren't cloudy anymore. However, the tone and atmosphere about those eyes seemed somehow different from before. In a manner typical of young girls, Ange signalled that she was too bored and wanted to do something. This Ange was clearly a 6-year-old Ange. Good point. Then why don't you head back to the guest house now? I'm gonna stay here. Why? It'll start raining soon. It won't be long now, so I'll wait here a bit longer. You're waiting here? Who are you waiting for? Hmm? Beatrice. Then, to Ange's eyes, it looked as though the strong winds were carrying flakes of gold along with them. No, she had definitely seen something, but she wasn't able to describe what she had seen. So to her, it had seemed like flakes of gold dancing on the wind. So here you are. I've been waiting a while now. It was as though he was talking to the wind. Battler spoke to the empty rose garden. That can't be right. After all, it was clear from his words that he was talking to someone right in front of him. So Angie thought it must be someone that she alone couldn't see, and she rubbed her eyes. Then when she opened her eyes wide, another large gust of wind blew past her. She shut her eyes immediately, and when she timidly opened them, from the other end of the rose garden, yes, from the path that led up from the harbour, a person appeared. To Angie, it looked as though she had appeared along with a cloud of gold flakes carried by the wind. You're late, Beto. Am I? I'd call it early. You should ride in the boat with us every now and then. You mean grasp the handrail and scream alongside you? Yeah, sure, let's scream. Fall, fall! I see. How interesting. Yes, I suppose I did arrive too late. The pair casually walked up to each other and hugged. It looked like a pair of friends being reunited after several years. Angie, surprised by this unfamiliar woman, looked for somewhere to hide. However, her eyes met Beato's and she was unable to escape. Oh, and you must be Angie. She was shocked to hear this unfamiliar woman suddenly use her name. Look, even she can be cute when she's 6 years old. Oni-chan? Who is this person? A friend of mine. A friend? How can you say that? Oni-chan's friend? This is Beatrice. You've heard from Grandfather, haven't you? About the Golden Witch who gave the Ashurmaya family its gold. Haven't I heard that before? The Golden Witch. Now I remember. That was the scary witch who would snatch you up and carry you off into the forest if you didn't listen to your parents, or stayed up too late on Rockanjima. Mom said that on rainy nights, if you look out the window at the dark forest, you might see the witch looking back at you and get snatched away. Which must mean that I'm supposed to be wandering about in the cold rain, looking into each window to find kids staying up too late. How pathetic that would be. Ah, good point. Angie, your parents just made that story up to get you to go to bed on time. Beatrice doesn't do stuff like that. Very well, allow me to introduce myself. I am Beatrice, the Golden Witch. Or her grandchild, at least. Grandchild? That grandchild part's a bit of a killjoy. That's true, isn't it? The person that Grandfather got the gold from and called the Golden Witch was a grandmother, right? I guess. Grandchild of the Golden Witch, am I? Can't get a better title than that. Is this person a witch? Yeah, she is. She's a guest who's been invited to the family conference today. She isn't a scary witch. She's not going to take me away into the forest. Damn Rudolph and Kyrie. Just what do they think they're telling this kid about me? I don't do things like that. I'll lodge a firm protest later. Pout. She looked like a fiercely emotional person. But she wasn't at all what Angie had expected the creepy Golden Witch to be like. She was very loud, overreacting to everything. Nothing at all like the witch Maria Oni-chan had talked about, who had lived for 1,000 years and had various servants from the demon world. She looked, well, like an energetic young woman, the kind Angie's mum might have gotten along great with. Her brother and the witch talked together happily like a pair of close friends. Dogs tend not to trust people they meet for the first time. However, people say that they calm down once they see that their owner is on good terms with a stranger. Surely, something similar to this was going on in Angie's heart. Angie kept staring at this pushy, temperamental woman who called herself a witch, as she chatted happily with her brother. What's this key for? Beto noticed the gold key hanging from Angie's neck, and she automatically and defensively grasped it. That's Angie's precious key. After hearing these vague words, the witch stared blankly for a second, but almost immediately she seemed to understand what he meant. I see. Is that how it is? I thought it'd be easier to understand if I made it clear what she's supposed to do. Fear not, Angie. No one's gonna steal your precious key. You sure? Of course. That key belongs to you, and the choice is yours. Battler and the rest of us are merely signposts to guide you on your path. When her brother gave her the key, he had said that it was very important, so she had to take good care of it. Angie didn't have a clue what the key was for, but it looked like Beto did. However, just like her brother had done earlier, Beto only spoke in riddles. This irritated Angie, but for the time being, the Golden Witch said that she didn't intend to steal the key, so Angie calmed down a little. Do you know what this key is used for? But of course. However, I cannot tell you. Why not? Because you must decide how to use that key for yourself. The witch said the same thing as my brother. The pair nodded to each other, but it was all Greek to me. It felt like someone had laid out a riddle that everyone knew but me, and everyone was making fun of me. You'll know soon enough. Don't waste time thinking about it. Angie held the key tightly. Even if she didn't understand what it meant, it was her own key, and her big brother had told her to take good care of it. With her youthful suspicion, she was scared that the witch might ask her to hand it over, saying that she'd teach her how to use it. Of course, her thoughts showed up clearly on her face. The witch couldn't help but laugh at that honest expression. Fear not. It's impossible for anyone to steal that key from you. No one can steal it? You might say that it has been imbued with magic to make it so. At any rate, fear not. Neither I, nor Battler, nor anyone else on this island can steal that key from you. Really? Yeah, really. The magic won't let them. The key was hanging around her neck like an ordinary necklace. Angie could take it off right now if she wanted, and if an adult tried to use force, it seemed like it would be easy for them to take it away. However, both her brother and the witch said that it was protected by a magic that would stop anyone from stealing it. Does magic really exist? Even the 6-year-old Angie knew about the word magic. However, she also realised that real magic didn't exist, and that certain kinds of magic tricks were sometimes called magic. However, her brother and the witch were talking about magic itself. Yeah, magic exists. Really? Maria spoke of me often, did she not? She says that witches exist, and she often tells you that magic exists, correct? True, Maria had talked about that many times. When they were just playing, Angie had believed her, more or less. However, Angie was, in some ways, sharp for her age. And when she heard Maria talking happily about magic, she sometimes thought that such a thing couldn't really exist. Then show me. Show me magic, or I won't believe you. Hold up a sec. Beto just arrived on the island, and she hasn't even gone to say hi to everyone at the mansion yet. Battler spoke as though he was trying to smooth something over. When she heard that, Angie became sure that magic didn't exist after all. Magic's just a bunch of lies. I know. Hey, stop that. You'll hurt Beto's feelings. No, it's no problem. Anyone would say that upon meeting a witch. Normally, I would ignore provocation from such a small child, but she's your little sister after all. Why don't we give her a special showing? You sure? Of course I am. Watch carefully, Angie. Okay. Though Angie had challenged the witch, now that she was about to be shown magic, she looked a bit hesitant. She gulped, then stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand, bringing it close to Angie's face. Then she slowly spread her fingers. Angie, thinking that she was about to be turned into a frog, shrank back. However, after waiting a while and grinding her teeth, she realised that nothing was happening. So the part of her that had been scared began to get angry. Nothing's happening. Don't jump to conclusions. I haven't used magic yet. See, look carefully at my palm. I'm not hiding anything, correct? Oh, so that's what she's doing. Now that she's finally understood, Angie checked both sides of the witch's hand. Yeah, there's nothing there. Watch closely. I'll make a fist, and then stretch out my index finger. She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Angie's eyes. Angie, thinking that she'd lose the game if she took a step back, stood her ground and concentrated on the fingertip. Watch the tip of my finger closely. Ready? It'll be fast. The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Angie looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, up, down, left, right, then left again. Angie, feeling as though she'd lose if she couldn't keep up with the fingertip, swung her face this way and that, looking serious. Ever since she was very young, Ange had hated to lose. She would take even the most trivial games seriously, determined not to lose to the adults. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Ange didn't lose track of it. Then the high-pointing finger was swung down all of a sudden. The index finger curled up again, and the hand was held in a simple fist. Could it be that something was going to come out of that hand? Ange, who had suspected that this might happen, had followed the finger very closely. There was no way that once empty hand could have grabbed anything. Ready? I'm going to open my hand. The witch slowly opened her right fist. And there... What? How? How, Oni-chan? The witch gave the cutely wrapped candy to Ange as a present. Ange took it and desperately searched for some kind of trick on it, but it was just an everyday ordinary candy. How? That was a trick, wasn't it, Oni-chan? Oni-chan? Nope, that was magic. You were watching the whole time, weren't you? Since I was watching the whole time, how did it happen? Ange didn't like it, but she was unable to see how that could have been anything other than magic. As the little sister furrowed her brow and bit her lower lip, her brother gently told her again that it was magic. It's about time for me to head to the mansion to pay my respects. You should come along, Battler. You'll suffocate. I'll suffocate if I have to go alone. You sure? Then I'll join you. What about you, Ange? Will you go back to the guest house? I want to stay with you, Oni-chan. She still couldn't accept it. However, could it really be? She still looked grumpy, but it looked like she was getting interested in this witch. Then let's go. The Golden Witch returns. The Golden Witch's grandchild returns, you mean? We really need to do something about that name. The big brother and the witch really did seem close. With kindred spirits like a pair of comedians, they started walking. Ange held onto the corner of her brother's sleeve, trying to make sure he didn't forget about her. Oh. But is it true? Was Battler trying to do as the game master? I'm a bit fuddled right now. But I'm sure as we go along, it'll all get explained by the end. It normally does. So, we'll leave it there. This has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit. When we... I don't know what's going to happen, but the VIP room was where Beatrice used to go in this, so I guess that's where we're going to go next. Who knows? Thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.